Recently, we've been getting tons of questions here on the channel. What would be a great beginner, DIYer, prosumer table saw? And all of you that have been here for a while will know I have my favorite answer on what my favorite table saws are. So I was kind of stuck to give you an answer on a table saw for that line of consumer. Until right now, possibly. We're gonna show you what we have. We're gonna get it unboxed. We'll go over the specs. We'll make some test cuts. It's all coming up right after this message from our sponsor, VCG Construction. For all of you that have been here before, welcome back. But if it's your first time here, my name is Vince. Welcome to you, especially. It's like nice to meet you. We have Skil's new 15 amp, 10 inch table saw. There's a couple of features that have me fired up about this. Features that I'm used to seeing in more upscale or upline or up segment table saws. You'll see here it has a 25.5 inch rip capacity. It's got an integrated folding stand. So this won't be a rolling stand, but how cool is this? After you buy the saw, which is priced around 330 bucks, you already have a stand. You don't need to buy one. And this one's integrated. You don't have to worry about a folding metal stand that might fall over and such. Skil tools come with a 3-year warranty. Registration is required. Don't forget to do that. This is product number TS6307-00. We have some standout features here. 25.5 inch rip capacity, allows cutting of large and hardwood materials. Fine adjustment calibration, I really like that part. Quick and toolless adjustment between blade and motor gauge slot. Dust port elbow redirects dust to a specific container for easy cleanup. We have rack and pinion fence rails. I appreciate that. Makes adjustment so much quicker and easier. Ensures fence stays parallel to blade for fast, smooth, and accurate cuts. Patented bevel detect quick release. Cuts between two position stops at 0 and 45 degrees with quick release lever. Let's check that out. Integrated folding stand. Quickly collapses and provides portability and convenience to be placed on top of surface. Pretty cool. Let's get a little bit deeper into the specifications before we get it unboxed. You got 4,600 RPM. This 10-inch table saw is not battery operated, so it runs on 120 volts. Depth of cut at 45 degrees is 2.5 inches. Depth of cut at 90 degrees is 3.5 inches. Bevel cut, it says you could do between -2 and -47 degrees. Amps, it's 15. Blade size, 10 inch. This will take a dado stack up to 5/8 of an inch. The cord length is 6 feet. We can see here the contents, everything that's in here. Table saw with rip fence, integrated folding stand. It's got a 24 tooth or Tifus's blade, blade guard, push stick, miter gauge, anti-kickback back pawl, dust port elbow, 2 scrunches or wrenches. We got riving knife and spreader, drive knob with washer and hex screw. Now comes my favorite part of the show. You know, I like opening my boxes like this, especially with the larger tools. You know, this way it's like a surprise. Sometimes it will just fall right out. Sometimes it, sometimes it won't. We have our riving knife. We have our guard, our miter gauge, our push stick, our elbows. Here's the crux. Hopefully this doesn't require too much assembly here, but let's take a look while we have this upside down. You'll see here we have a nice 14 gauge wire. It is a non-grounding plug. It's 6 foot in length, pretty cool. We could also see the motor here. You'll see that we have easy access to change brushes if necessary, but unlike its bigger brother, the Skil saw table saw, this is not a worm drive saw. I will let everybody know though, we do have plastic gears here. And I guess for that application, I assume that they would be plenty durable. It raises and lowers the blade. I just wonder how much additional cost it would add to have metal gears there. Let's get it out of the box. We have some nice handles here and here, so you could grab it by its top. So if you were going to set your legs out with this saw, from what I'm seeing right now, you would definitely not want to go in this direction because it would rest on the rack and pinion release. Okay? So you definitely want to go this direction, and you'll see we have like these two spots on the table. I guess they're rests almost, and down here rests, so we can open our legs. Our wrenches are held here on the blade housing. We have some pre-drilled. These are holes. I don't know. Maybe there's going to be something that goes there. I don't know yet. I guess we'll find out. Our rack and pinion adjustment is the handle's plastic. We have one more piece of styrofoam here. There we go. So we undo the bevel, lift up on the bevel, and then styrofoam comes loose. I'm going to lock that back down. We're going to push in these red buttons. They're going to lock open. 2. Lift it. Now we're stood up. Our blade's already installed. This is our adjustment knob. So you'll see it's keyed here to fit over this and the cotter pin. So we're going to slide that on there. And then we have an Allen key. I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to lock that down. I would just snug it. The handle, this is plastic. A lot of them are plastic. Not really a big deal. Now that we lift up on our handle here, we're able to adjust our fence. Here's the only bummer for me on this. Not only is our handle plastic, our rails are metal, our pinion gear here is plastic. And I guess it's one of those things, like I guess the question is, if you start adding metal gear there and then metal gear on the underside for the depth adjustment, does it just drive up to the cost to the point where it's not prosumer anymore? Maybe that's just the fact of it. This is nice. Nice lightweight. This is aluminum. We have metal retaining clips here. Right at the edge of that kerf, as we pass our material through here, we would literally be at that 4-inch mark. And you can see here on our rack and pinion fence, so we're at 4 1/8 here. Okay, so what we have to do is we need to adjust this, because when we want material to be 4 inches, okay, we come down here for a quick glance. We're going to, release our lock. We're going to move in for a quick adjustment. If I come down, if I lock down, I'm expecting that my material, my cutoff, my material here will be 4 inches in between the blade and the fence. We're at 4 inches on this side of the blade, okay? And what will happen is, as we make the cut, this material is going to be removed from that cut piece. So we're going to be a full 1/8 of an inch short on our material. So we're going to want to adjust that. We're going to loosen this. Okay, we're going to slide our indicator to 4 inches. And we're going to tighten down. Okay, so now to the right of the kerf, we have exactly 4 inches. On our indicator, we now have 4 inches. So now we have an expectation. We have our elbow for our dust chute, fits here at the back. And sometimes we're able to just maybe put a vac hose in here. Or if you wanted to attach a bag, you could, I suppose. Usually store my saw like this. So if the saw's in transit, it doesn't bang the rails. If you store your saw like this, for instance, and you go to move the saw around, set it down on its side, or in the truck, maybe it slides, it bangs on these rails, it could throw them out of adjustment. So I like to store it like this. If you wanted to use the saw at its full capacity, we have a second position that we can install our fence. We'll put it to the outside here, and at that point, we're going to use our lower scale. If we line ourselves up, keep it nice round numbers. If we move it to 8 inches, okay, look, now we're at 8 inches. We'll have our cut material will be at 8 inches. If you needed full capacity, you'll see, okay, we're at like 25 and 5/8. Before you adjust your fence, you want to make sure that your bevel is set exactly to 0, okay? Here's the deal. This saw also includes positive stops at 45 and 0, as you can see here. Now you can go beyond 0. All you have to do is push in this little plunger, and you can go to minus. When you set your rip fence or your indicator, make sure you're at 0, lock down. Then you're going to take your measurement. For instance, here we're at 10. You'll see we're close. We just need a minor adjustment here. All right, we're at that point where we want to get our anti-kickback mechanism and our guard installed. First thing we're going to want to do, raise up our blade. Then we're going to take off our plate here. We're going to reach down into the saw. Make sure your cord's unplugged. We're going to lift up on this lever. We're going to press out here. We're going to lift up on our riving knife. You'll see, there's 2 holes. We're going to make sure our riving knife is installed in the lower hole. We'll press down. We'll put our throat plate back on. We're going to put our anti-kickback mechanism on first. Okay. Clips on in place. Boom, like that. Then we're going to put our guard on. We're going to pull up on this lever. This here goes into that there. Okay. We're going to make sure that our guard is in the down position. We have a spot for our miter gauge right here. We got a standard shop vac. Will not fit in with our elbow adapter, but it will fit right in here to the saw. So we're going to cut some MDF just to make a few test passes through the saw. I want to make smaller rips out of this piece of wood. So what I'm going to do is we're going to move our rip fence to the inner position so we can make tighter cuts. I only want to take off maybe 1 inch at a time max. You will see though, when you want to make smaller cuts, sometimes your guard assembly will get in the way. Sometimes, you know, people don't use these guards and any kickback mechanisms. I will say this, you should never operate your saw without the riving knife in place. Riving knife, very important. Use or not use the other safety equipment at your own risk. We're going to leave it all in place for this demonstration. We're going to set the saw at 1.5 inches. Now, the good part is you're not able to accidentally activate this saw. Okay, it has a safety switch here. If you were to bang into the safety switch, it will turn off. Always bang in the turn on. Number one, I will just immediately tell you, this saw is extremely loud, very loud. But I will also say, and I know we're cutting just some MDF here, it's extremely powerful. I felt no stalling through the material at any point. I mean, it went through it like butter. I mean, each and every cut, you'll see. I mean, it's set at 1.5 inches, it's dead at 1.5 inches. The saw did a great job. Pretty awesome job. Maybe we should try some hardwoods. So what we have is this is an oak riser. When it comes to cutting material such as this, there's no race. We want an accurate, clean cut. So I'm not going to try to jam this piece of material through the saw. I'm going to feed it like I normally would at a consistent pace, cautiously. This is nothing to play games with. I'm impressed. I think it did a pretty doggone good job cutting through the material. It's a nice clean cut. If you were cutting a specific material, this blade might not be for you. You might need to change the blade, but you can see through MDF and then even through hardwoods, the standard blade did a pretty doggone good job. And we could ride this material from the bottom all the way up. Like, that's a consistent cut. I mean, we literally got a ribbon here out of it. I'm impressed, and if you're impressed, then smash the like button. It's free for you to do. It helps out the channel immensely, plus you'll get 7 years of good luck. But only consider doing it if you appreciate the content. Also, leave the comments down below. What do you think of the new 10-inch, 15-amp Skil table saw? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's a clear-cut signal that Skil is moving up range into the prosumer professional marketplace? I think it's pretty impressive. I will tell everybody, it is loud. That is probably my only gripe that I could see so far. Also, is there any other materials you'd like to see us cut with this? What do you want to see next with this saw? We want to know. Leave it all below. With that, I want to say I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Thanks a lot, everybody. We'll see you all on the next one. Video's over, but I know you want more. So this is how you're going to get it. First thing you need to do is pretend you're this guy. And you're here at the birthplace of freedom. Now ring that bell like it's 1776 and let all notifications through. What? You're not subscribed yet? Well, smash this button here. After that, watch this video here, here, and maybe over here. See you later.